morning, this is Marty. Day 5. Um, Day 5 is going to bring a couple of changes for us here at Copper Moon. Denver is actually en route to the airport now to pick up Eric in Port Elizabeth. So he'll be joining our team here, and he has been chomping at the bit to get here. He's been seeing the pictures and has, pretty much let me know not to use up all the animals before he gets here. So we're looking forward to that. Andy from the film crew and I are going to go up to the range, and we're going to, although the mutt has been just dead on, inside of 400 yards every shot, we want to stretch it out a little bit this morning. We want to do a little pre-test on it and see what it does at 500 yards and beyond. So we're going to do that. We're going to get Eric's Larry 6.5 JDJ sighted in for him, because I know he's going to want to carry that. But now let me recap. Yesterday. We had a really good 4-mile hike in the morning. Set up a couple of stalks and didn't score anything. We did find a steenbuck. Okay, that Ruth actually had lined up for the shot, crosshairs on it, just wouldn't turn the right angle. She didn't have a good clear. Good position on the shot as far as the steenbuck was concerned, and it's kind of like a cross between a greyhound and a jackrabbit. I mean, it flies and jumps and cuts, and once it gets on the move, and then just like a jackrabbit, it'll go to ground, and then you would have to step on it to get it to bounce up. But then we had the middle part of the day. We had just kind of some relaxing time. We had 3 really long, hard days of endurance training, I think, and so then we went up to the caretaker's house, and his wife Libby was such a gracious host for us. We got to relax. We got to do a little Wi-Fi time, and then we went out in the afternoon, and our intent was to go after that elusive kudu. And so we went to a spot where we had seen multiple bulls that were trophy grade. And the problem with yesterday was the wind. The temperature was nice, but the wind was blowing 30 miles an hour, gusting to 40. And so when we sat down for that stalk, we're overlooking a bush area with some clearings on both sides where we could potentially have, clear open shots if we got one to come out. And didn't have great expectation for it, to be honest with you, because of that wind. We're sitting there doing calculations on the Bullet Drop app that I have on the phone of 30 mile an hour wind at a 30-degree angle with the mutt, which is that great ballistic coefficient bullet, and it wasn't promising. And then, just like so often happens when you hunt, the unexpected does happen. And out of nowhere, out of that bush, came just a monster eland. Wasn't on our list of shooters that we expected to do, but we saw a herd of them on the very first day here, and it was like, wow, that is such an enormous animal and so elegant. And they have a problem with them that they can clear, as big as they are, they can clear an 8-foot fence. So they'll run over into the game preserve or to the other places. So anyway, this giant eland walks out, and he didn't know we were there, and he's just grazing and doing his thing. Gave Denver time to analyze him, to look at his horns, to look at the whatever that thing is hanging down off the front. I can't ever remember the name of it, and as well as his color. When they start to mature, they go from tan to like a blue-gray. And he checked every box. And as it turns out, Denver thinks he's going to go into the Roland Ward scoring system as a record. And so we set it up. We had done all those calculations. We were ready, and we climbed down the hillside to close the distance on him, because where we were sitting was at about 380. So we climbed down the hillside just about as far as we could go. We set up the bog pod I'm 6 foot tall, and when you stand up in the wind like that, it affects, we're worried about the bullet flight, but the effect of the wind on the shooter and how that moves you and makes you unsteady on the crosshairs. We set that up low to the ground, and I got comfortable behind it sitting. And so I really hadn't practiced in that position. But what we found was lower to the ground, the wind had less impact on me, and I was just rock solid on the crosshairs. And so Denver and I, we talked about the shot. We talked about, because in some of the books it says don't go after these guys unless you're using a 300 grain bullet and take out the shoulder. But Denver, with his experience, knew that 143 grain Hornady ELDX would not penetrate the shoulder deep enough because it's such a massive animal. The overall weight ended up to be about 1,900 pounds. So what we sat there, we talked about it, we talked about shot placement, location. You'd have to make the perfect shot on them. I have complete confidence in myself with the mutt in my hand. And we needed him to turn quartering away just a little bit to put the shot in behind the shoulder, but angled into the vital areas. And so we watched him for probably 15 or 20 minutes, and he was just grazing and doing his thing. We thought he was going to come around a couple of times, and then he turned back the other way. And in any case, he finally turned. Denver gave me the green light, and we put the shot exactly in that spot, in the wind, and at about a 5-degree angle into the wind. So the bullet drift was a factor, although a small one, at that distance with that bullet. And we, just like with all of these, even hearing impaired, shooting suppressed, I could hear the bullet hit, that thwack. Knew that we had made a good hit, and he went about 10 meters or so, and stood there, and I was reloading, getting ready, because even Andy, the cameraman, said that you hardly ever take one of these with one shot, and that's always the goal. You can't always accomplish that, but I was reloaded and ready, and told Denver I was ready for his green light. He said, he's going down, you don't need to shoot. So in any case, you'll see the pictures of it. The film crew got the full shot and everything on camera. So we've got video of that, and just an incredible day that ended like that. So anyway, back to today. We will get an afternoon hunt in this afternoon with Eric. We'll have to bring him up to speed quickly, because this is different than any hunting that we have ever done. So hope you have a good day, and we certainly are.